Alright everybody, welcome back to Commander Deck Profiles. I'm Ryan Sierra, and we are going to be taking a look at Kongi Skywarden. So I made this deck because in real life I ended up buying this Commander starter deck that had like a different Commander for an Azorius. But I found that Kongi Skywarden packed a bit more of a punch and was something that I could conceptualize building around a lot more, as opposed to any other like Azorius commander that was originally in there. So, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and take a look at how I managed to make a weirdly aggressive Azorius deck. Because Azorius is normally known for control and sort of stalling the game and making sure opponents and other players can have fun. But I'm actually down to not do that and make Azorius fun. All right, so what we got over here, it's a crap ton of creatures. So my goal for this deck, as you can read, and it's apparently 36 competitive, so right up with Gisa in episode 1. Kongi Skywarden says, whenever it attacks, attacking creatures with flying get +2/+0 until end of turn. And he's got flying and vigilance, so he doesn't tap. And whenever Kongi blocks, blocking creatures with flying get +2/+0 until end of turn. So what happens is, I basically wanted to create... So there's a lot of Sphinxes in mono blue that basically say, when creatures attack, you draw a card. And like I said, what am I on about? I like making a big board and a big hand. So we have creatures in this deck that will say things, for instance, like, whenever, and I'm trying to find him. Like, here's a fun one. Cloud Blazer, flying, whenever it enters the battlefield, gain 2 life and draw 2 cards. That's a lot of fun. ETB, draw a card. Thanks. This is going to buff up my other flying creatures, of course. This is create a token and draw a card. I mean, fairy formation is so much fun. But we have, like this one's a lot of fun. Creatures you control with flying have spells your opponents cast that target this creature cost 2 generic more to cast. So Jubilant Skybonder makes me feel pretty jubilant because it's protecting my creatures. Then, of course you got Mole Drifter. I mean, what's an Azorius without Mole Drifter, right? What's blue without Mole Drifter? Let's see. Safara's a lot of fun. I have her in my Kalia deck. It's crazy. Of course, I really like to use her last effect there. Other creatures you control with flying have indestructible. So, I mean, that's so great because then I can just, kind of not have to think about combat necessarily anyway. Because I can just throw and be like, hey, my creatures are flying and they're indestructible. So, like, have fun. Silver Mirror, of course, tap for that blue. I believe I have a gold mirror that taps for white. Sky Cat Sovereign's a lot of fun because I have a really adorable Catbird token card, like IRL. So it's a lot of fun. But he also buffs, he buffs himself for each other creature with flying, so he's a bit of a menace. And then of course we got draw card. Spectral Sailor basically reads 5 draw card. I don't know. Also, why is that art Animu? Oh geez. But yeah, we got Sphinx of Enlightenment that says target opponent draws a card, and I draw 3 cards. So it's fun to build alliances a little bit with this. Then we have Spirited Champion. Oh my god, no way. Draw a card? That's crazy. Let's see, but there other creatures you control with flying get 1/1. Yeah, so we're all about buffing again, basically. Okay, so then we have this. This is kind of and it sucks because there's not like an incredible amount of cards in here that do this, but this is what I'm trying to accomplish with this deck, is I'm trying to do attack draw triggers. So Tide Skimmer, for instance, is one of the cards that says, when you attack with 2 or more creatures with flying, draw a card, right? Then we have Wind Reader Sphinx, which is whenever a creature with flying attacks at all, you may draw a card. This is fun because it also reads when your opponents attack either you or someone else with their flying creatures, you benefit. So, I mean, that is just so much fun. But yeah, a lot of this is going to be like, making creatures with flying cost less, buffing them up, otherwise, giving them, more attack, more defense. Draw cards, protect them, make them indestructible. Of course, we have Cartographer's Hawk, which says when it deals combat damage to a player with more lands than you, return it to its owner's hand. And if you do, you may search your library for a Plains card, put it onto battlefield tap, then shuffle the library. So, I mean, that's some of that weird white ramp or white land fetch where it says like if you're behind, you can get a Plains. There's like a few of those. And then, of course, we need all the mana we can get, I think, because it's going to be, of course, Azorius. And Azorius, as you know, It's not exactly known for, like, you know, pumping out mana like green or green-blue or... So, of course, you know, we do have, however, a few removals in the instance, right? We got, you know, Get the Heck Away From Me, Counterspell. Um, and Thought Vessel's a lot of fun because no max hand size is important in a deck that's trying to draw off combat. You know, Counterspell, Get Away From Me, destroy target creature or permanent, untap all creatures you control with flying, get 2/2. Again, we're trying to buff those flyers there. Sphinx's Revelation, that is some weird card art, and it is basically, it's kind of weird because that first 2 blue and white are like a lot to pump into, but you know, that's why I'm trying to get all this mana here. And again, you know, like this card feels a little clunky in this deck, not because it's not got a good effect, but because, um, you know, I don't know if I have enough mana to make it go really hard. Like I'm trying to, you know, play this like a Marwyn-y kind of deck. It's just weird. And again, you know, I'm totally down for feedback because this is my first time attempting these kinds of videos. So leave a comment down below. Wowie zowie. Swords to Plowshares. What is white without a Swords to Plowshares, dude? Swords to Plowshares is obviously that staple white removal. Full on exile that creature, and then they gain life, but you know, life in Magic. Let's see. We got that command tower. We got 16 islands, 18 plains. A port town, prairie stream. It is what it is. Vanishing Light, let's see, and ETB, exile 2 target island permanent control fault. Yeah, it's basically like, there's a bajillion O-ring kinds of cards in MTG where it's like, you know, this card comes out, banish opponent's thing until it leaves the battlefield. There's so many effects like that in white. This one's a lot of fun. Whenever an opponent attacks you or a planeswalker you control with one or more creatures, draw a card. Thank you. Obviously, buff up those flyers, dude. Whenever a creature controls does combat damage to the player, you may draw a card. Let's do it. And then this one looks like a lot of fun. Whenever you draw a card, target opponent puts the top 2 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard. If they're both all-in cards that share a color, repeat this process. So basically, we read, hey, you want to hit the other opponent or hit me? Cool. Like mill half your deck. And then, of course, Staggering Insight is like this random enchantment aura that just says when it does combat damage, draw a card. I only really have it for that effect. Obviously, some good draw. And I don't know why I have a Vow of Duty other than to, like, goad someone else's stuff. So, and then Storm Herd's a lot of fun because, you know, you're gaining life with white effects in this Azorius deck. Maybe, you know, you haven't made anyone super mad yet, and maybe it's turn 7 or 8, and you're able to cast this because of the ramp that you have. And you make a crap ton of Pegasuses because it's about your life. It's not about, like, other creatures, like in Elf Ball. It's about life, so that's mean. And then, of course, you know, this runs perfectly. Creatures with flying, you know, basically will make this cost 1 less. Oh my god, hey, guess what this deck is centered around? And you draw 2 cards. So it's actually pretty quick, you know, commander deck profile video. Kongi, he's a bit of a glass cannon, and a lot of my decks are glass cannons. And then, of course, you know, there's my tapped out name there. Add me on tapped out. But yeah, he's a glass cannon, but he's fun, you know, because when he works, he works. And so I go, good.